I'm the chair of the Nikkei Games Judo tournament. And today, as you can see, we have many competitors of all ages. And we expect to have a really good turnout today and good competition. Before we get started with a lot of our introductions and things, at this time I would like to introduce Mr. Art Ishii, who is the chair of the Nikkei Games in its entirety. And then he will also introduce, and we will have our national anthem. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And welcome to all of our competitors. Once again, whether you realize it or not, we are probably the only organization in the world that has all three of you on the same floor at the same time, Judo, Kendo, Karate. So you're a part of something very special, and you should be proud of participating in this very special event. As tradition holds, we are now back at this beautiful facility, the Cal State Long Beach Pyramid. And when we talk about tradition, we all do traditional martial arts. But part of our tradition here at the Nikkei Games Pyramid Judo Tournament is we have the honor of having our national anthem sung by Mrs. Lauren Kincaid. She's a former Nikkei Week queen. She's a team leader of her own real estate company, the Kincaid Group. And I know we want to keep these things moving, otherwise if I kept talking about her achievements and accomplishments, I'd take up half of the morning. But let's begin the ceremonies with Lauren Nikkei with our national anthem, the voice of Nikkei Games.
If everyone could face the flag, please. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rocked away, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Lauren Kincaid Wong, the voice of the Nikkei Games. Hi, Tim Nikkei.
Thank you, Lauren. Thanks. Give her a big hand again, please. And give Art Ishii a big hand because he has a lot of responsibility to cover not just this, but all the other Nikkei Games activities during this month. Speaking of other Nikkei Games activities, up on the board we have a lot of sponsors of the Nikkei Games. They're very important to us because otherwise we would not be able to have a tournament in this facility. It's through their sponsorship and their in-kind donations that we're able to rent this facilities and to have all those other expenses taken care of for us. At this time, excuse me. I would like to introduce those who are at the head table. Representing karate is Mr. Juan Batista. He's the chair of the karate tournament. Batista Sensei. On the judo side, we have Mr. Richie Endo Sensei is the chair of the judo tournament. And over there is Mr. Francis Lee Sensei is the chair of the karate, the kendo. At this time, I'm going to start with those of our special guests here from karate. So, sitting at the table, we have Nishimura Sensei. We also have two of our founding members for the karate tournament itself and its organization. A couple years ago, they said they're going to retire, and they turned it over to Batista Sensei. But I'd like to introduce Mr. Rod Kuratomi Sensei. Thank you so much for your past. And also, Kevin Suzuki Sensei. Thank you so much. Also, we will have a special person, Sakura Kokubai. And she'll be performing I'm sorry. Sakura, will you come back up? I also have to introduce her. She's a U.S. Karate Olympian. So thank you so much for that. And at this time, I'm going to introduce back Batista Sensei, who would like to say some words about some of our other high-ranking karate sensei.
Ohayo gozaimasu, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Nikkei Games 2024. Last year was a very sad year for all of us in the karate world. We lost two distinguished instructors that were friends for many, many, many years, since I remember back in 1979. We lost Tomura Sensei, Jembukai organization, and we also lost my instructor, Hanchi Gaspar with the Kenjutsu Karate Federation. These two individuals were committed to karate, and they were always here together. Hanchi Gaspar has always been my mentor since I started karate, and he made who I am today. And I'm here to continue his legacy of helping in the Nikkei game. That's what pushes me to make it better for all of you. As parents, as competitors, to bring the Nikkei games continuous. And that's what he gave me. I want to hand over the microphone to Kevin Suzuki, one of Tomura Sensei's students.
So most of you have seen Dimmer Sensei before, but never realized it. So Dimmer Sensei was a stunt double for Pat Morita in all the Karate Kid movies. So all the karate you saw in the movies was actually Dimmer Sensei. So he also, his last big movie that he worked on was Shogun, a series on Blue. And so Dimmer Sensei and I were in Canada for boot camp for the technical advising for Shogun. And also Dimmer Sensei, he loved the Nikkei games, and he was always here, and his biggest thing is for competitors to keep trying, good sportsmanships, and don't give up. So please, good luck to all competitors. Thank you for all the parents, the organizers for the karate tournament. Dimmer Sensei will be very proud of everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Suzuki Sensei. Thank you, Batista Sensei. Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce our members of Kendo who are at our head table. First, I'd like to introduce to my far left, Lim Sensei from Western Kendo Federation. She's the vice president. And from Southern California Kendo Federation, President Abe Sensei. And from the Southern California Kendo Organization, we have Vice President Yatomi Sensei. Today's Chief Judge for Kendo will be Chinen Sensei. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Judo Senseis at our head table. Mr. Hayward Nishioka, who is 10th degree Judo and one of the pioneers of Judo in the U.S. We also have Mrs. Nancy Washburn. Thank you. And we have Mr. Jerry Hayes. Hayes Sensei is also 6th degree black belt and one of the pioneers of the And finally, we have Mr. Gary Takemoto. Takemoto Sensei is 7th degree black belt, and he is also an Olympic referee for Judo. Did you just come back? And again, we have Richie Endo Sensei. So thank you so much for coming again. So this time, I'd like to Hayward Nishioka Sensei would like to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim Sensei. I've been fortunate in this position because I'm able to speak with everybody here, and I feel quite at home because I've done all three martial arts, and I've done karate under Tsutomu Oshima. I've done kendo under Shikai Sensei, and then I've done judo under Kunyuki Sensei, who has departed already. But first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much to the Nikkei Games Committee, and for Tim, for Richie, and for Art. You don't realize how much work it takes, and all of you are being able to share in that. And you are celebrating the fact that we care. The senseis of the dojos that exist, that carry you, all care about you and making you a better person, a better citizen, a better person overall. And this idea originally came from the Ministry of Education in Japan when they changed over from the Tokugawa era to the Meiji era. Meiji was the emperor of Japan who was reinstated, and he was responsible for modernizing Japan. Until then, Japan was an agricultural country. It turned into an industrial giant. It turned into Toyota in a sense. But the main thing is we celebrate that through our dojos. because every person that is here has been benefited by the instructors that are at each of the dojos. There isn't a dojo in Los Angeles that doesn't care about their students and the things that they learn in there. What do we learn? We learn respect, because we start, as we started Tim Sensei, with a bow, and we will probably end with a bow. But everything starts with respect. We learn about bravery, because it takes a little bravery and courage to get out here and to compete. We learn about determination, and all of you are determined individuals trying to do your best, to find your best you, the best person that you can be. So I congratulate all of you for being here, and thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to everybody. And thank you, Tim Sensei, Art, and Richie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nishio-sensei. And along with that, one of the reasons years ago when this tournament first started, it was called the Martial Arts Tournament. But in my power, I changed it to Judo Tournament, because that's basically what it means. It's back of the samurai warrior. So that's why the term Judo is used now for this tournament. At this time, we are going to start with some demonstrations. So I would like to reintroduce Batista Sensei.
Thank you, Sensei. We're going to start with our Olympian. Can everybody have a seat, please? Sensei Sakura did a very amazing seminar for our athletes that were there present yesterday. The input that I got from the students was amazing. They loved the detail that she gave to our athletes to become better. Every seminar that I can bring to the students is to bring them up to a different level. And she did just that. And for that, I thank you. She's gonna do our shata kata. Oh, different kata, I'm sorry, different kata. Lipat. Thank you, Sensei. For our next demonstration, we got some of the best athletes in our nation. We have our first weapons athlete is Delilah Duran from IKF. Sensei Martinez Dojo in Long Beach. Our next athlete is Ella Verde from Japan Karate Federation. Shihan Kawagacha's dojo. We have, and she's doing the side, and we have Kai Bautista with Shinsei Shituru Karate. They'll be performing weapons today. Fantastic. Thank you. Our final demonstrator is Kaito Hota from the Sei Karate Shituru. With that said, there's a reason why we did weapons today. Next year, we're going to open for weapons. Nikkei Games 2025.
Thank you, Batista Sensei. Please give them a big hand. Joining us today, also, we would like to introduce a very special guest from Karate. I'd like to introduce Miki Sensei. Thank you for coming, Miki Sensei. Miki Sensei has been a long-time supporter of Nikkei Games Karate. At this time, we're going to ask Endo Sensei to introduce Judo and Tracy on that.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all coming, and great job, Karate. That was awesome. You guys gave me goosebumps. So good. Now we'll have some of the San Gabriel Judo students demonstrate Judo as an Olympic sport. Go ahead, Malia. As we just concluded the Judo portion of the Paris Olympics, we just want to share that Judo was founded in 1882 in Japan by Jigoro Kano, who is only 22 years old. Since then, Judo has grown to 44 million people in the world practicing Judo today. And in the Olympics, there was 122 different countries that participated in Judo in the Paris Olympics, which was amazing for something that came from a little 22-year-old guy from Japan. The other thing that was awesome about Judo in Paris this year is it was the only sport that was split 50% girls and 50% men. I'm sorry, 50% women, 50% men. 189 women and 189 men. So it was the only sport that was split exactly 50-50 in the Paris Olympics. Something that's a little bit different about Judo today is the kids have to train. They have to be very thorough. Keep going. Okay? The matches today it's sudden death. So some of these kids have to fight 30, 40-minute matches. That's a long time to have to fight a match. So all of the kids, we work a lot on agility and all kinds of things for high performance. We do lots of drills, lots of uchikomis, and lots of throws. So that's what the kids are demonstrating now. You can start Judo as early as 4 years old, and there's still people in their 80s that are practicing Judo and competing. And this year, the World Veterans Tournament will be in Las Vegas, so it'll be the largest international tournament in the world. Okay, Malia, let's move to throws. Let's demonstrate some throws. And then we'll move on to, we'll have Sensei Takuma come up and share with us some of the competition rules. Throws. Let's see some tomonagas, please. Okay, Tsurumare. Now let's have Mr. Gary Takamoto, 2016 Olympic referee at the Rio Games. He will bring the kids out to demonstrate the competition rules. Sensei Takamoto.
Thank you so much. Look at this. This is great. Look at all the competitors. Let's give them a hand. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Harris. We have two of our competitors. They are from San Gabriel Dojo. As you can see, they're wearing different colored belts. The white belt and the blue belt. That's to distinguish who is who. So in white we have Malia, and in blue we have Garrett. You'll see the gentleman in the middle, that's the referee. That's Dan Takata. He's also an International A referee. So from here, we're going to have them come and enter the tatami. The referee will invite the two players in. They will face each other at a starting position and then bow. A form of greeting. Okay? Now the referee will call hajime, or start. The two competitors will show, as you can see earlier in the throws, they will show the first score, which is ippon, or full point win, or naka, equivalent to the boxing. The hand gesture that the referee indicated is ippon. Now the two competitors will show wazari, or half point. How to indicate half point is when the opponent lands on their side at a 90-degree angle. Okay. Now what they're going to do is they're going to show different types of pins. So there's various ways of winning in judo. Throwing techniques largely on the back, or pinning techniques. So, kesaratame. For this, the individual who is pinning has to hold the opponent for 20 seconds. If the individual that's pinning has a half point, or wazari, only holds it for 10 seconds. Gary, Yokoshio. And for the same in regards to scoring. Thank you. Now they'll show the other portion in regards to winning, which is choking situations. The choking situation, the choke has to be underneath the chin. For the opponent that's being choked, will actually surrender by tapping. The next they'll show is armbar, which is another way of winning. Thank you. So you can see as the demonstration of choking and armbar is very similar to jiu-jitsu, which judo did start from. Next, what we'll do is we'll go penalties. When the two players or either players create something illegal, then what we'll do is we'll give them a penalty, shido. That's what we call penalties. There is two shidos. When you receive the two shidos, the third shido, or the third penalty, is hansokuake. That means they're out for that match. Thank you. So these are the penalties. There are more penalties that occurs in the art of judo. At the finish, the two players will return to the starting position. The referee will indicate the winner. Two players will bow to each other with respect and then leave the competition. For that concludes the demonstration of judo. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Takamoto Sensei. Please give all our demonstrators from judo a big hand. Thank you. Good job. So at this time, I apologize because I'm a little partial to Kendo. But I would like to introduce Kendo demonstrators. And but before that, I do want to mention that Kendo is not in the Olympics. However, since the early 1970s, every 3 years, Kendo does have a world championship. And from Kendo, although amongst the 3 disciplines is the most not as well known, currently there are over 60 countries participating in the World Championships. And we just completed the 19th World Kendo Championships in Milan, Italy. And I'm proud to say that our Team USA, both men and women, finished in the top 3. They finished 3rd, both in the men's division and the women's division. So many of those Team USA competitors have also competed on this floor as they are growing up. At this time, I'd like to introduce Lee Sensei, who will introduce our demonstrators from Kendo.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Yuga Sensei, for that brief introduction and making my life a little easier. To add to Yuga Sensei about the World Kendo Championships, we actually do have an individual here that's demonstrating, Casey Tada Sensei, who competed in those championships. I believe she got top 8 individually. Yeah. So top 8 individually. So as we start each match, we step into the court and bow to each other. And then take 3 steps, draw our swords out, and sonkyo to start and sign respect. In Kendo, there are 4 different areas that you can strike to score a point. First one would be the head, which is men. And as they keep doing that, they can also do a smaller variation to be a faster, so small men. And as you notice, these competitors are displaying their ki through their shouting, and you can also hear that they tend to hear like a stomp of their foot. They're not actively trying to stomp their foot, that's just the result of them pushing off with the left leg and landing on the right leg. And this is just like a key concept of kiken taiichi, which means your sword, your spirit, and your body is in one motion, are in unison. The next point that you can strike would be the wrist or your kote. And the smaller variation of that as well. The next point, you can strike the waist, or called goal. And we're not limited to one side of the goal, we can also hit the other side goal as well. And this last one is reserved for those that hit their shodan, or which is the black belt equivalent. It is a thrust to the neck called ski. And then sometimes what we can do is combine some of these together to score points. So common combination would be a kutan man, which is the wrist and the head. All right, some of the penalties are what we call hansoku, things that we could not do in a match. One is, as you notice in the court, we have green lines that represent the boundaries of the court. If one of them steps out of the court, if they step out of the court, then it is a hansoku or penalty. And usually 2 hansokus will be a point to the other person. Another thing that we cannot do is once we come into subazeria, where we clash in the middle, we have, with the new provisional rule after the pandemic, we have to separate within 3 seconds mutually at the same time. If one tries to back up, but the other chases them before the sword separates, that will be a hansoku as well. So, Yamet, hansoku. Other obvious things would be we cannot be punching each other, we can't use our hands at all to strike each other. We can't sweep the legs, we can't trip. We can't grab the shinai and smack them with the other hand. Okay, so those are the general rules of Kendo. Those general strikes that we can do, stuff we cannot do. I'd like to thank our competitors, our demonstrators for their help today. Songkyo.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Lee Sensei. Please give our demonstrators a big hand. Thank you. Before we start our competition, I want to remind everyone here that I hope you paid your parking fee. Because if you didn't pay your parking fee, you might see a little slip of paper on it, or you might get some kind of notice saying that you're in violation of the parking fee. So if you haven't paid your parking, please run outside, go to the machine, or do it on an app, but please pay the parking. Also, I believe the food venue is open for those of you who wish to grab something to eat later on. And at this time, we will ask that each discipline begin their matches. So I hope everybody has a nice day. Thank you so much. Thank you.